Lily, a 13-year-old girl, had been raised by her grandmother, who instilled in her the values of kindness and helpfulness. One day after school, as Lily was walking home, she noticed an elderly man having difficulty crossing a busy intersection. Without a moment's hesitation, she approached him with a warm smile and kindly offered her help. "Would you like some help, sir?" she asked, gently taking his arm. The old man, Mr. Thompson, looked surprised but deeply grateful. "Thank you, dear," he replied. "These old legs aren't what they used to be." As they slowly made their way across the street, Lily struck up a conversation with Mr. Thompson. She learned that he lived alone in a small apartment nearby. He had lost his wife several years ago and had no children to look after him. Despite his circumstances, Mr. Thompson had a positive outlook on life, and his stories fascinated Lily. Once they reached the other side of the street, Mr. Thompson thanked Lily profusely. "You're an angel, young lady. May the kindness you show return to you tenfold." Lily blushed and waved goodbye, heading home with a sense of fulfillment. Little did she know that this small act of kindness would set off a series of events that would change her life forever. In the days that followed, Lily couldn't stop thinking about Mr. Thompson. She wondered how he was managing and decided to visit him over the weekend. On Saturday morning, she baked some cookies and walked over to his apartment, hoping to surprise him. When she knocked on his door, there was no answer. Concerned, she knocked again, louder this time. Just as she was about to leave, the door creaked open, revealing Mr. Thompson's frail figure. "Hello, Mr. Thompson." Lily greeted him cheerfully. "I brought you some cookies. I hope you like them." Mr. Thompson's eyes lit up with delight, and he invited her in. They spent the morning talking, and Lily learned even more about his life. He shared stories of his youth, his late wife, and the adventures they had together. Lily listened intently, feeling a growing bond with the elderly man. As days turned into weeks, Lily began visiting Mr. Thompson regularly. She helped him with his groceries, cleaned his apartment, and even read to him from his favorite books. Their friendship blossomed, and Lily cherished the time they spent together. One day, as she was leaving Mr. Thompson's apartment, Lily noticed a sleek black car parked outside. A man in a sharp suit approached her, introducing himself as Mr. Parker, Mr. Thompson's lawyer. "Mr. Thompson has spoken very highly of you," Mr. Parker said with a smile. "He has requested your presence for a very important matter." Lily was confused but agreed to follow Mr. Parker to his office. There, she was handed an envelope with her name on it. She opened it to find a handwritten letter from Mr. Thompson. The letter read, "Dear Lily, your kindness and friendship have brought immense joy to my life. I have never felt so cared for since my wife passed away. I want to show my gratitude in a meaningful way. Please visit my apartment tomorrow morning for a special surprise. With love, Mr. Thompson." Lily's heart raced as she read the letter. She couldn't fathom what kind of surprise Mr. Thompson had in store for her. The next morning, she arrived at his apartment promptly, her mind filled with curiosity and excitement. Mr. Thompson greeted her with a warm smile. "Come in, Lily," he said. "I have something very important to share with you." They sat down at the small kitchen table, and Mr. Thompson handed her another envelope, this one marked for Lily's eyes only. She opened it and found several documents inside. Confused, she looked up at him. "Lily, these papers transfer the ownership of my apartment to you," Mr. Thompson said softly. "I have no family, and you've become like a granddaughter to me. I want you to have a secure place to live and grow." Lily was speechless. Tears welled up in her eyes as she tried to comprehend the magnitude of Mr. Thompson's generosity. "Mr. Thompson, I don't know what to say. This is too much," she stammered. Mr. Thompson gently patted her hand. "It's the least I can do for the kindness you've shown me. You've brightened my days, and I want to ensure you have a bright future." Overwhelmed by his kindness, Lily hugged Mr. Thompson tightly. She promised to take good care of the apartment and to continue visiting him regularly. In the months that followed, Lily and Mr. Thompson grew even closer. She continued to help him, and in return, he became a mentor and friend, sharing wisdom and life lessons. The apartment became a haven for Lily and her grandmother, who moved in with her. One evening, as Lily and her grandmother were preparing dinner, there was a knock at the door. Lily opened it to find Mr. Parker, the lawyer, standing there with a serious expression on his face. "Good evening, Lily," Mr. Parker greeted her. "May I come in? There's something important I need to discuss with you." One day, as you and your grandmother sat together at the kitchen table, Mr. Parker, the family lawyer, was invited inside. He took a seat, placing his briefcase on the table, and carefully opened it to reveal a stack of documents. With a serious yet gentle tone, he began to speak. "Mr. Thompson has made some additional arrangements in his will." As he continued, he explained that Mr. Thompson, a wealthy man who had recently passed away, had left you and your grandmother a substantial sum of money. He had done so to ensure that both of you would be well taken care of in the years to come. Upon hearing this, your grandmother gasped, overwhelmed by the generosity. Her voice trembled as she expressed her amazement. "This is incredibly generous." Mr. Parker nodded in agreement. Mr. Thompson was not only a man of wealth, but also of great kindness. He valued genuine human connections above all else, and he wanted to reward your selflessness, Lily. He wanted to make sure that your future would be secure. The news was almost too much to comprehend. You felt a wave of gratitude and responsibility wash over you. As you absorbed the gravity of what Mr. Thompson had done, you silently vowed to use the money wisely, not just for your own benefit, but to help others, just as Mr. Thompson had helped you. As the years passed, you grew into a compassionate and successful young woman, never forgetting the lessons Mr. Thompson had taught you. You honored his memory by volunteering at local shelters and dedicating your time to helping those in need. His influence shaped you into the person you were becoming. One day, as you walked past the busy intersection where you had first met Mr. Thompson, you couldn't help but smile. That small act of kindness, offering help to an elderly man, had set off a chain of events that changed your life forever. You realized then that true wealth isn't measured by material possessions, but by the love and connections we share with others. You went on to live a fulfilling life. After graduating from college with honors, you started a successful career in social work, dedicating yourself to helping others. You even founded a nonprofit organization aimed at assisting the elderly and poor. Your grandmother lived her remaining years in comfort and happiness, often reminiscing about Mr. Thompson's kindness and how profoundly he had changed your lives. One sunny afternoon, you stood in the community center you had built through your nonprofit. The walls were adorned with pictures and stories of the people your organization had helped. As you walked through the bustling center, greeting volunteers and residents, a deep sense of fulfillment settled over you. On your way to your office, you noticed an elderly woman sitting alone. With a warm smile, you approached her and asked, "Can I help you?" The woman looked up, her eyes filled with gratitude. "A friend told me about this place. I need help and didn't know who to ask," she said. You sat down beside her, listening intently to her story. The moment felt familiar, taking you back to the day you had first met Mr. Thompson. You realized that life had come full circle. Now, you were the one helping others, just as you had once been helped. After assisting the woman, you returned to your office and sat at your desk, gazing out the window. You reached into your drawer and pulled out an old photograph. It was a picture of you and Mr. Thompson on the day he gave you the envelope that changed your life. Just then the doorbell rang, and you found Mr. Parker standing there. "Lily, I need to talk to you," he said as he entered and took a seat. Curiosity piqued, you asked. "What is it?" Mr. Parker smiled warmly before revealing, "I discovered that Mr. Thompson had one last wish. He wanted you to have his old library. He believed it would inspire you and aid you in your work." Surprised, you responded, "I didn't know." "That's wonderful." Mr. Parker handed you a key and an address. "The collection is housed in a private library. It's yours now." The next day, you visited the library, It was a cozy, inviting space filled with shelves of books. As you walked through the aisles, you felt a deep connection to Mr. Thompson. You knew that his wisdom and love of knowledge would continue to guide and inspire you. You decided to use the library to further your nonprofit's mission, organizing literacy programs and educational workshops. The community flourished, and many lives were positively impacted by your organization. You often thought of Mr. Thompson and how he had shaped your life. His kindness had led you to a life filled with purpose and fulfillment, and you knew he would be proud of you. One evening, while browsing through the library, you discovered a note tucked inside a book. It was from Mr. Thompson. It read, "Dear Lily, you're here at the library, just as I hoped. I knew you would do great things. Kindness and compassion are the greatest gifts. Keep spreading love and light. I'm always with you. With love, Mr. Thompson." Tears welled up in your eyes as you read the note, but you smiled through them, feeling an immense sense of gratitude. You resolved to continue honoring Mr. Thompson's legacy by making the world a better place, one act of kindness at a time. And so, the story of you and Mr. Thompson came to an end, but the ripple effects of your shared kindness and compassion continued to touch countless lives. Your journey proved that even the smallest acts of generosity can have the most profound and lasting impacts, changing lives for the better.